Your Excellency, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, President Chissano, former President of the Republic of Mozambique, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Parliament of Egypt, honorable ministers that are here with us, the Chairman of the Africa Prosperity Network, Mr. Wamkele Mene, CEOs, business leaders, leaders from development finance institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with you once again for the second edition of the Africa Prosperity Dialogues. And I want to join the Vice President of the African Development Bank in congratulating the Chairman, Mr. Wamkele Mene, for the vision and the intellectual drive to convene us yet again today, and the AfCFTA Secretariat is extremely proud, or very proud to partner with the Africa Prosperity Network and the Presidency of Ghana to ensure that as Africans, we begin the process of telling our own story, narrating our own challenges which I believe are actually opportunities. The theme for this year could not be more appropriate: delivering prosperity in Africa, production, add value, and trade. And of course, the African Continental Free Trade Area is precisely the instrument to deliver upon this promise of an Africa that produces what it consumes. Over the last 3.5 years that the AfCFTA Secretariat has been in Ghana, we have recorded tremendous success in ensuring that the vision of our founding fathers does indeed become a reality. Trade under the AfCFTA has begun. We have a program that we initiated last year, which is designed and intended to see the realization of the trade that all of us want to see on the African continent. As we speak, we have developed the AfCFTA tariff book, which enables the private sector and economic operators across the African continent to determine with certainty the tariffs that apply to the products that they want to export. We also have the Rules of Origin Manual. For the very first time, as the African continent, we are able to apply rules of origin that are harmonized, that enable an exporter from Kenya to export to Malawi with a great deal of certainty about the market that they are exporting to. The private sector is, of course, an important part of the work that we are doing, and indeed a pillar of implementation of the AfCFTA. As the Chairman said before me, it is not governments that trade, it is the private sector that trades. And that is why we have developed a private sector strategy, identifying sectors such as agriculture, the automotive sector, pharmaceuticals, transport and logistics, which combined create and establish a market of $130 billion for investing in the value chains that the Vice President of the African Development Bank alluded to earlier. We recognize, of course, that many challenges remain. That is why the partnerships that we have developed with the Africa Business Council, with the African Development Bank, with AfrExim Bank, to ensure that we mobilize the necessary resources so that this dream does indeed become a reality. Last year, as you may be aware, we signed an MOU with the United Bank of Africa, UBA, where they committed to mobilize up to $7 billion to invest in private sector, particularly small medium enterprises, to advance these very objectives of the AfCFTA of enabling small medium enterprises, the processing of and value addition of goods that are produced in Africa. Before that, we signed an MOU with the Equity Group, where they also committed to mobilize up to $7.5 billion in the processing of minerals on the African continent. Much needs to be done. We have, however, taken the very concrete steps of creating a single market consistent with the vision of our founding mothers and fathers, as far back as May 1963 in the historic city of Addis Ababa, where they expressed a desire that one day the African continent must be a single market, must trade using local currency, must have a single currency, and we have taken concrete steps towards that particular vision. We have established protocols, such as a protocol on investment, to protect not primarily foreign investors, but to protect African investors. We have established an intellectual property rights regime, a competition policy, and soon we will conclude protocols on women and youth in trade, very critical for inclusion. And we will also conclude a protocol on digital trade later this month. The protocol on digital trade positions us to harness the benefits of Africa's digital economy, to ensure inclusion, particularly inclusion of young Africans who are at the cutting edge of digital innovation and who require the regulatory support for them to thrive in Africa's digital market. May I end, if I may, with a quote and words from the former president of Burkina Faso, President Thomas Isidore Sankara. And I quote, "We must dare to invent the future. We must dare to invent the future," end quote. And so today and over the next 2 days, as Africans, we will be gathered here to invent our future and to deploy instruments that enable that future, instruments such as the AfCFTA, that enable that future to become a reality. I want to thank all of you for your attention.